Yes, sir. We are back. NBA Finals. Things are heating up. This is your guy, Marcellus Ease, and I told you this is going to be a long and good-ass series. Woo! The Pacers are putting everyone on notice and letting them know that they are legit, as their roster from top to bottom is a lot to deal with. But in this segment right here, we're going to get deeper into some of the nuances that are taking place, like Chet Holmgren versus Miles Turner. That's a battle low-key that's playing out that's having a major impact in this series. Chet taking over the first half, Miles Turner coming back in the second half defensively and turning things around. We'll also get into how Tyrese, Haliburton, and SGA were going all out on both ends of the floor, and how the Pacers defense applying ball pressure on SGA all game long began to wear him down. As again, their defense is a lot to deal with, and this is the first game in the series the Pacers kind of look like their old self. The transition points were there. The bench came alive, dropping 49 points. And again, them being up in this series should not come by no surprise, as it's always been rare for us as the NBA audience to view a team, a complete team, to be in the finals. Just going through the Rolodex, the only few teams that was very similar in NBA championship history is the 79 Sonics, and I would say the 2004 Detroit Pistons. This is how rare it is for teams to get on this level without a top 10 player. But hey, I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
There are three ways to make a living in this business. Be first, be smarter, or cheat.
I'll go right.
So to kick this off, one dynamic we really got to pay attention to is the battle between Chet Holmgren and Miles Turner. Turner, first of all, has a major mismatch because he could easily convert when the Oklahoma City Thunder go small, but yet he's not really utilizing his mismatches, and his three-point shooting, even when he's open, has not been spot on. But Chet Holmgren, as soon as the game started, got cooking in the first quarter, scored 13 points, but for the rest of the game, Turner shut things down as defensively he began to lock in. And it took Turner a minute to get to that point, because in these pick and rolls, when they bring him up this far out, he's had issues containing SGA and J-Dub on these pick and rolls. Even the roller. Chet is a lot faster than Turner as he gets burned right here. But the Pacers are going to make adjustments. As right here, we get a slight sneak preview because Turner right here, he's been getting burned. But Pascal's going to abandon Case and Wallace. See, he helps close out that lane on SGA. And this exact scenario right here is what played out in game one of how the Pacers were kept getting burned on pick and roll. Surprisingly, they didn't want to switch, and it led to multiple blow-bys as Turner couldn't quite guess which way SGA is going to go, and defenders like Nembhard and Naismith would be trying to recover. So Turner just being in drop back for the moment just to get in the way. He couldn't really quite anticipate the speeds of SGA. They were getting continuously burned on those pick and rolls. So with Turner just being afraid of the blow-by, not being able to keep up, they upped their ball pressure in the second half. And this is where Turner got way more active, as right here in this pick and roll with J-Dub, see, he's meeting them now at the line. He's not waiting back here for J-Dub to gain some momentum and come downhill. He's meeting them at the line. And he's way more active. See, look at this recovery on Hartenstein. You see with Turner, the offense wasn't quite flowing, so he made it felt in the defensive end with 5 blocks. That kind of negated that 20 points that Chet had, because just in the second half alone, he only finished with 5 points. He had 15 by the first half. So Turner made his presence felt with that physicality, something that the Oklahoma City Thunder couldn't quite deal with, especially when they went small. And even for Chet, that seemed to be bothering him all series long when he takes it to the rack. He can't quite overcome that on Turner. He's stumbling and fumbling the ball. Him being in his early years, his body quite hasn't filled out yet. But make no mistake about it, any one of these guys in this battle between Chet and Turner, any one of them go off, it could completely swing a game. Now going into SGA, make no mistake about it, in this game, they applied the ball pressure on him non-stop. At times, he still got to his bag, but it was a lot to deal with, as the Pacers have a lot of bodies to throw at him, and just keep applying that ball pressure. The same thing they did to Jalen Brunson in the previous series. And by the time it was game 6, Brunson was completely deaded by the fourth quarter. Completely gassed, completely fatigued. And this is what the Pacers do. They got Nembhard, Ben Shepherd, TJ McConnell, Naismith, Benedict Mathurin. Even Walker, if he wasn't injured, he would be in the mix. Just all these guys on top of SGA just wearing him down, sticking to his hip quarter by quarter. And by the time you reach up to the closing moments, guys are worn down. Just 4 seconds into the game, you could see they was going to be on his ass. Look at Nembhard. Completely frustrating and drawing a foul real early on SGA. Just 4 seconds in. As we'll see right here, they're going to make things real difficult for him, even when the calls go his way. Nothing comes easy. Here it is again. SGA got to work real hard to get into his spots. I like how Obi meets him at the line. You see the ball pressure right here? They're not even giving him a breathing room to even make this turn. See, usually the defender is down here, so he's not getting that head start to go downhill. Obi once again meets him at the line. Look how hard SGA is working just to get to his spots. And the refs kind of bail him out right here. Once again, we're seeing fresh bodies on SGA. This time, Ben Shepherd. And look at Tyrese. Tyrese now meeting him at the line. You know, shit is crazy when Tyrese is involved in the defense. Look how Ben Shepherd avoids these screens. These guys are sticking on him like glue, but he makes a nice pass right here. So even in plays where SGA is still getting into his playmaking bag, you see it's a hell of a feat just to get that assist off. But again, going to the pick and roll, you know, the Pacers bigs, this is where OKC could really exploit them with Turner and also Thomas Bryant and Tony Bradley. Right here, their bigs are not quick enough to recover on Chet. Chet really could get into his bag on these rolls and even draw fouls. And this is a quick way they could easily put the Pacers in the bonus. Something to carry that Oklahoma City offense at times when they get stagnant. Maybe their shots are not falling. Guys are not getting as many turnovers off the Pacers to get those transition points. Getting into the bonus is going to be key for a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know, ironically in this series, it's kind of shocking that they haven't put Turner into pick and roll situations a lot more often. As right here, he anticipates a blow by. As right here, he tries to anticipate which direction SGA is going early, but he rejects the screen and he can go straight downhill. Turner is not catching up to him. Again, the Pacers bigs, they're not as fast, but it's just a limited options of ball handlers for the Thunder. It's really SGA and J-Dub. That's what makes this series have a nice yin and a yang component to it. The Thunder have the much more complete superstars who can quickly play make and make something happen in crunch time. But the Indiana Pacers, they have the more complete team. Multiple guys could come off the bench and just have scoring outputs. We've seen TJ McConnell, Ben Mathurin in this game. He had 27 points in 22 minutes. Obi Toppin has had his scoring outburst with his three-point shooting. Ben Shepherd is another player that comes in and adds to that defense that Nembhard and Naismith is playing, just staying attached to SGA and J-Dub. He's also another cast member that adds on to their three-point shooting. So the Pacers have a dynamic that kind of makes up for the inconsistencies of Tyrese Haliburton. And also these players complement him because in transition they get out, Tyrese could easily pass to them and they get off their shots. And they also do a lot of the dirty work, as TJ had multiple steals on just inbound passes. And for the Oklahoma City Thunder, they really can't afford to have all these turnovers. That's not really their MO. They're just like the Pacers, a low turnover team that actually forces other teams to turn the ball over, and their defense actually adds on to the amount of points that their offense could score. The yin and the yang component just keeps adding on because this Oklahoma City defense, they can go up to a level that the Pacers defense can never really get up to athletically. Just their speed, their strength, the way they close out on shots. Don't get me wrong, the Pacers have guys like Mathurin and Naismith, and also Pascal to a degree, who are athletic, but they also have a lot of energy and effort guys like Ben Shepherd, Nembhard, and TJ McConnell. But the Pacers having guys that are slightly older and more experienced, it kind of balances everything all out. So that's why in the first part of this series, I've alluded that all the stars were lining up for this series to be perhaps one of the greatest finals that we've seen in the past couple of years. All that small market talk is just for the casuals. But going back to the Thunder's offense, here's a perfect example of some of the issues that they're facing. Pascal right here is going to meet SGA at the line, so he has no room to go downhill. And also look at Ben Shepherd. He stays attached to SGA's hip. These guys have done a great job avoiding screens. Shepherd, Mathurin, Nembhard, Naismith, they've done a great job just sticking to him. Same thing for TJ McConnell. And also when SGA does attack going downhill, who's his open shooters? Caruso and Lou Dort. How consistent can these guys really be? And same thing for Chet. He has not been consistent even shooting from mid-range. Forget the three-point shooting. But how well can SGA just continue to kill him and get into that mid-range bag? Because that ball pressure coming from the Indiana Pacers is going to continuously be relentless. As right here, they have an endless amount of fresh bodies just to put on SGA. I mean, just look at Mathurin, Nembhard, Ben Shepherd, Naismith, TJ McConnell. Again, it's not ironic we saw Jalen Brunson in the previous series with the Pacers kind of look burned out in the fourth quarter of Game 6. But SGA so far in this series, he is showing that he's truly the MVP because he's fighting through all that. But he is human, so it makes you wonder in a 7-game series, is he going to have enough to cross that finish line? Make no mistake about it, in this year's NBA Finals, both teams' superstars are actually playing both ends of the court. We're seeing Tyrese exude some energy on defense we've never really seen before. Dynamics like this only add onto the fact that SGA already has a lot to deal with on the offensive end with just so many perimeter defenders just sticking to his hip. Now he's also exuding energy on the defensive end. Can J-Dub help him carry some of that load? And in Game 3, we definitely got a nice little sneak peek of that because J-Dub definitely helped this OKC offense maintain their scoring. He had 21 points in 3 quarters, and ironically, only him and SGA were the only scorers in that third quarter. Jalen Williams has come a long way, and he's proven this season, especially with that, all-NBA team defense, making his first All-Star appearance, making All-NBA. He can be that guy, that second co-star that can complement SGA. And his decision-making has definitely improved, and he has the basketball IQ to get to that next level. Again, he had 21 points in 3 quarters, only off of 2 turnovers. So he kept his shot profile low. He was only 7 of 13 from the field, so he's shooting over 50%. Turnovers are down, and he's helped keeping up the scoring while his bench unit doesn't necessarily contribute as much. Because once again, the Pacers had Obi Toppin and Mathurin just going crazy, scoring a bunch of points off the bench, but they kept their composure with SGA and J-Dub not making too many mistakes. I believe a lot of that has to do with the help defense the Thunder have actually acquired during the offseason with Caruso, because that's something that had hurt them last season with J-Dub just chasing Kyrie Irving all over the court in that Western Conference Finals, and he may not have had the same energy level to put out on the offensive end. That hindered them from getting past Luka and the Mavs in that series. So it is what it is. The pressure now is on the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 1-day turnaround in between games 3 and 4. They have all the pressure on the road to save themselves from going down 3-1. And the Pacers, they've been rescued by their defense in this particular game. They actually returned to sort of how they looked throughout the whole postseason. A lot of transition offense, a lot of their guys coming off the bench like Obi Toppin, Mathurin, TJ McConnell doing their thing. Especially Mathurin, I'm going to shout him out because 27 points in 22 minutes. Just wow. The Thunder had no answer like that coming off their bench. But SGA and J-Dub facing all that ball pressure did hold up. but they got to cut down on all those turnovers from the rest of their teammates. OKC uncharacteristically turn the ball over a lot. But we'll see how it plays out, because a lot of pressure is on them with the 1-day turnaround to actually come back on the road and stop themselves from going down 3-1. And if they do end up coming back, they're going to apply that same pressure for the next game for the Indiana Pacers on the road to not go down 3-2. So this is a perfect series, because both these teams are going to have to keep overcoming some adversity at some point. Neither team can actually avoid it. So we'll see how it plays out. Until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.